everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Today, in this episode, we will be seeing many things happen, such as, well, this country gets a capital, and so do they. So, let's go ahead and see what happens. Now, obviously, the first event of this episode will be when these few countries that I forgot to give capitals to get their capital. So the next country to get a capital will be this one right here. And I will put it right there. Then the green country will put their capital there. And this country surrounding, I think, Lake Victoria will get their capital to be there. These guys will have their capital in that spot. And then this area that rebelled will get that. And then these ones will choose their capital as right there. Now, since we have given every country their capital, let's go over to this war. So, over here we see that the Detroit country has been severely pushed back because of aid from the Germans. And if we look here, we do not see Rome on this list, which means that if they have Germany, who is stronger than Rome, and New York, who's stronger than Michigan, attacking, I think the side of Germany will win. Anyways, let's go ahead and see more advancements into this country, as the New York country will take 2 more major cities. So, now what will happen? Well, they will quickly go ahead and take those islands. Then when it gets to looking like this is when the Michigan country realizes that they literally just can't defeat the New York country. So I will put them back for now. Then we will focus over here on what happens. And let me actually just change this color to a better color that represents the New York country better. As, well, I had to use a very, very orangey color for the invasion, as there wasn't really many colors to choose from when I go up and down on the HSV scale and change the V scale. But yeah, so now we will see what happens in Europe, as we will see invasions start up north by Germany, which means, yes, they are getting involved in this war. But there is a country, an area that would like independence. And that area is none other than the easternmost areas. Obviously, where else would it be? You thought I was gonna say in the capital, didn't you? Well, if you did, you're wrong. Anyways, let me real quick fix up whatever I did here. And so, boom. And there, let me check provinces. Okay, and that. Okay, now this is what this area will look like. I'm actually gonna try and fix that up a little real quick. Now let's see how that so it doesn't really follow the province, but hey, it's okay. Now let's see it better, I guess. Anyways, we will go ahead and see a funny thing happen actually. Adriatica will actually go ahead and invade into this region that, well, just broke away from Germany. Then Germany will see this and they will go for the other half. And after this happens, Adriatica, Germany, Greece, Bulgaria, this Turkish country, and New York will sign an alliance. But, as I said, after the war. So, now we will go ahead and see Adriatica actually go ahead and push into the Roman lands over here. And their progress is definitely less than the progress of Germany, but also we have to realize Adriatica isn't as strong of a country as Germany is. So we will see them decide it's best to land and do naval invasions, as with that they could easily block off this major city, and then this is kind of leaving this major city undefended, as Rome did not think Adriatica was capable of any naval invasions. But seeing this, Rome will start to push back, and in fact they will fully take them out of that major cities, and now they actually push them out of Naples, and they hold out in this one little tiny spot down here, which they actually flee, and they're going to this Greek island. And why? Well, the Greeks are waiting there for them to restock. Then as soon as they restock, they land in Sicily, which has two major cities and was actually the least defended lands of Rome, which is not smart because it's probably one of their most important spots of land, besides here and right here. Anyways, Adriatica will go ahead and push up more, even going into that area. And now, this is where Germany just starts full-on attacking and not just making slow and steady pushes, as they will go ahead and take all of these areas of Rome, very much crippling them, as Rome was trying to focus on pushing out Adriatica, which made Germany able to push as far, and then the Romans started to push against Germany, and then Adriatica gets these areas. And then Germany breaks through the defense of Rome, and then they will slowly but surely connect up with Adriatica over here, and then Adriatica will hold out right in front of the Roman capital, as what they're trying to do, they know they can siege it, but they don't want to. They want to starve Rome's people, as everybody in these lands, the army of Germany and Adriatica are stealing their food, destroying their crops. And over here in Rome, the people of Adriatica, the army, can't really be as cool because, well, they're not taking it over. So basically, well, as you can see, it's only these areas that are still alive in Rome. And now it's taken. So, this is where Rome surrenders. And seeing this, it's actually a few countries that will try to get these areas, such as Carthage, getting the southern half of that, and Pink France, getting Corsica. I'm pretty sure that's Sardinia. And then the country that lands over here is none other than still Carthage. And so, let's see this peace treaty. So, real quick, let me put it all back, and then you'll see this peace treaty. Okay, now let's go ahead and see this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we will see one new country form, and that is this country right here. And we will also see Pink France getting these two areas, and Carthage getting the southern part of Sardinia, as well as Greece getting the Naples region. So now we see Germany get that, and Adriatica get this. And what happened over here was Adriatica got one spot of land, while Germany got the rest. And in fact, they will make this area actually become independent. Now, what area? Well, actually, one province, and that will be, well, if you guessed it, good job, their furthest away province. And that is this one, and instantly they choose to become friends with Russia. And Russia actually wants to make a trade with this country. They want to give this country more land. But for what? Well, they want to guarantee that this country will be their ally and join them in wars. And this country immediately agrees to this, as they just got independence, and now they have quadrupled in size. So, it's going pretty good for this country. And, yeah. So, let's go ahead and give these two new countries some capitals. And this one will have their capital on the coast, and these guys will have it right here. And now we will have to take a look at something happening in Africa, as a lot of the surrounding nations of that alliance that formed last episode do not like them. Bless me. And in fact, we'll have to see there be a military alliance that pops up and is against these guys. And these countries are, in this country, this kind of Equatorial Guinea type country, this country, and one more country besides those guys. That would be these guys right here. Although they don't have a border, they want to aid them in the war. So it's a 5v3 But thing is, this area, these areas are the most, were the strongest areas of the pink Chinese colony. So, what will happen? Well, the war will start over here in this Nigerian region, as these guys will actually push through this spot right here, and they will slowly start to push over to this capital. Slowly, well, this invasion happened in around a month, so kind of slow, but not that slow. And now we will see what this country invades, as they will take actually a decent amount of land away from these guys. And this is when the orange country realizes that there's a back line, just like this Libyan country is, and that they will need to just aid these two as much as they can. So when that starts to happen, then Nigerians push back the Equatorial Guinea country, and in fact they take back the island as well. And now they even start their own invasion against these guys. And they first off take this major city, and they slowly go down the coast. And they will go ahead and hold out at that, as these guys will end up making a pushback. And now they will go back to focusing over here, taking these regions. But now, obviously, it isn't just these two countries in the war, or these four countries in the war. There's these four up here as well. And so, we will go ahead and see the fight between these countries, as this country starts invading in their most southern regions, which are the most studied because they have pink French technology, and the pink French were studying these areas a lot, but they were just like finding stuff out about these areas. And in fact, these guys know about encircling, and so they will quickly cover the entire front line. And then right before they encircle, tons of troops from all of these countries will start to flood in and push back the green country. Also, why did this war happen? Well, although these three were a part of the pink French colony as well as these three, these regions hated each other. Like the tribes, these countries are mainly led by tribes, these three, but these three are not. And these three hated these three, while these three were best friends. And these three were best friends. So, anyways, we will have to go ahead and see the green guys push like that to kind of block off the pinkish country. And they're just gonna try and reinforce this area, as they will now push into the northernmost regions of the pink country, and in fact take this undefended major city, because the rest of this country's army is focusing on Nigeria. Now, Nigeria realizes that they have enough equipment to fully take out these two countries, as long as this guy over here keeps aiding them but not as much. They don't need as much aid as they're getting. And it actually needs to be sent to these guys, because over here on the main front in this region, they will fully lose. And in fact, they will start being invaded on both front lines. And on this front line, it starts to move very quickly as there's no troops defending. And they even start to kind of spearhead down and cut off this area. But they will get to around here before they have to stop because they're running low on resources. And Libya isn't the best provider of resources currently. And so that is this country's front line. And now these two major cities' militaries will actually start to encircle their encirclement. In fact, they do. And then it's taken out. So over here, it's pretty much a stalemate besides for, well, that gets pushed back. And then, so they're just gonna focus over here on the pink country. And this point is when all the countries realize that they are not gonna beat the 3 strongest ones out of the 8. So, let's see the peace treaty. In this peace treaty, these countries will actually gain a nice amount of land, and I will have to fix whatever I did over here when this video ends, because what is that? Anyways, moving on to this rebellion. This rebellion will reach over here to ask this country for any resources possible, and they will send some resources, not a lot, but some. And yeah, now we will have to see them push down this side as well and curve like that. And this will in fact make another rebellion in the Grand Legion, and this rebellion will happen over here. So they will start to fully destroy this coastline, as they almost fully lost their coast over here, which would not be that good for them, as if they lose this area, they lose like around half of their land, if not more than half, like 55%, which would be very bad for them, and they might even fall out of the top 10. They might go down to like the 14th. But now we will see this new Sudanese rebellion start to push into these lands, and they say, these are really just all the lands we want. How about we peace out? And seeing this, the Egyptians agree. And so they will decide to all peace out. And in this peace treaty, this is what these two countries look like. We see this Sudan country having the lands they wanted, and same with the Egyptians, minus some, as what they had fully taken in the rebellion was a little much, and they wouldn't have been able to hold that. But they do get a very good amount of land over here. And in fact, their first move as being a strong country, yes, they're a strong country, definitely 100% a strong country, like probably top 30 since they just started, but they are strong for how old they are. Like, very strong. But yeah. And they will decide to just invade these guys. Why? Well, just look at them right now. It makes sense, you know? That country was probably like 5 times weaker than them, which, that's insane. Since these guys legit just became a country. But anyways, we will see this capital get removed. And in fact, they will give this northern region over to these guys, as they don't fully want all of it, as if they do, they'd just collapse. In fact, they'll give this area over to them. And then, yeah, they will also give this area. As they were actually mainly just looking for these 2 areas, and their plan worked out very, very well. And I'd say it's success for both sides, as these guys get land, but they lose their other Libyan friend, and then the Egyptians also gain land. So, it is actually not looking too good for the Great Ankarans or Grand Legion. So, they have an idea. They're thinking, why don't we just unite? Couldn't we do that? They're like, yeah, we could. So, what happens? This might just be one of the biggest events in this series, as these 2 countries, Great Ankara and the Grand Legion, unite into the Great Legion of Mesopotamia. That's what they're calling themselves. And I'm actually gonna change their color to more of a darker color, to that. And I changed the actual color a little, just because I didn't really like the other color. And yeah. Real quick, let's see this country get their capital. And boom. So, this is now, actually, as you can see, 12 and 9. They might be tied with Galicia. And in fact, Galicia is stronger than Portugal. Just so you know. Anyways, besides that, we will go over here and see what happens. As, we will actually see, I don't know, what will we see? Oh yeah, we'll see what happened over here. And what happened over here is, well, the New York country actually got all of this, so they just got a lot bigger. And then they will take major amounts of land from the Michigan country. And so, this New York country takes over these lands. As you can see, tons of land over here was taken, as well as some land over here. And now this makes them a lot stronger. Anyways, we will see, actually, the last country that will ever colonize anywhere or not colonize anywhere, that will start a colony. Yeah. Now, what country is this? I'll give you 10 seconds. Let's see if you can figure it out. Is it Tibet? They haven't started one. Mongolia? Possibly Korea? Or maybe, could it be the Great Legion of Mesopotamia? What if it's Morocco? Nope. Brazil. They have actually decided to buy a new trade with Guatemala and make this series version of the Panama Canal, as it's kinda in the Panama region. Well, no, it is in the Panama region. I meant really like the region of the canal. But they will be taking those lands, and in fact, the Pink French see this as a prime opportunity to take this back. And the Guatemalans are like, no. We're also giving that to Brazil, by the way. So, what was the point of making a new province? Well, there wasn't. I just did that for fun. Anyways, so these lands are sold to Brazil in order for them to get over here to where their colony will be. Now, I know Brazil is only 100 years old, but let me tell you, don't mess with them, bro. They're strong. How strong? They're probably a top 10 power. Sure, I have them at like 14th in the rankings. I haven't updated them. And you know what? Since I'm talking about updating the rankings, let's update the rankings. Now, these rankings will actually change decently. So, Russia lost some lands, and they're also struggling right now, like with stability and economics. So they will actually be pushed down decently, or by a few places at least, to around 3rd. As we will see, actually, Mongolia at 2nd. Because who else would be at 1st besides India? Exactly. 3rd is Russia. 4th, Pink France. Now, I'm not, actually, I wouldn't even say Russia's 3rd right now. I'd say Pink France is 3rd. 4th is Russia. Then Portugal is 5th. Now you see I put 5A because 5B is Galicia, which is funny because they're neighbors. Now, Pink China, well, as you can see, they actually got crippled. So they will not be as high as they used to be. And in fact, I think I'd give this spot right now to, actually, I'd give 5C yeah, 5C, to the Great Legion of Mesopotamia. And yeah, next would be the Persians. So I'd say that Persia's 8th, but they're not. They're 6th, because we're not doing like ties. It's just like they're the same exact. So I'm not counting it as ties. So Persia, not Parisia, sorry. Persia, and then we got Ethiopia. And then 8 is Tibet. 9, Germany. 10, Brazil. 11, Guatemala. 12 is Hokkaido. 13, New York. 14, I would say that it is, well, the Adriatica. And then 15, I'd have to give over to, this is tough. Would it be Thailand? Could it be, I mean, it could be this Chinese country, Korea, Pakistan or Oman, or even these guys, or Scandinavia, which actually it is beige China. Now, I did say that pink China was gonna, probably be off of this list. And would you look at that? Pink China is off this list. So let me real quick get rid of that. And now I will move these guys up over to, just shrink the list. And so this is now the new rankings. And yeah. Anyways, we will now see the final theme in this episode to happen, which is, drumroll please, a unity. Now between who? That's the question. There could be countries like over here, for example. These 3 could unite. And maybe Madagascar joins. Who knows? Well, that's basically just like the Malaysian colony all over. So yeah, no. It wouldn't be them. Now would it be these 2? Could be, but it isn't. Could be these 2. It isn't. It's another big one. Think about that. These countries are in the top 15. They're pretty decent friends. Let's see, India, Mongolia, Pink France, Russia, Portugal, and Galicia could be. Great Legion of Mesopotamia, no. They just united. Persia Ethiopia, Tibet, Germany, Brazil, Guatemala, Hokkaido, New York, Adriatica, or Beige China. If you guessed Portugal and Oman, you would be wrong. This has nothing to do with Oman. Or actually, anything over here in North America, Oceania, or Asia. So why did I leave in South America, Africa, and Europe? That must mean that this has to be countries in all three of these places. I said no Asia, so no Persia or India. That rules out those two. Now, let's see, Pink France. I said nothing to do with North America, so it can't be them. They lost their... Actually, no. Could be them. Could be something to do with them. And then Brazil and Paraguay do not have colonies. So it has something to do with some of these three countries. Now, why? Colony, 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 and mainland, mainland, mainland. So, what we will be seeing happen is, well, it's actually the unity between Pink France. Yeah, Pink France. You thought I was going to say these two, didn't you? And two other countries. Now, this is why it's big. Pink France is the third strongest country in the world. This English country and this new Italian country. Now look at them. They are a lot stronger. They could even be first place now. But are they? No, because this wouldn't bring them to first place, I'm gonna be honest. Because they didn't unite with these guys. They united with this area and Iceland. Wait, did you just say Iceland? I thought Iceland was a part of Scotland. No, not anymore, because I just made them a new country, and now they're a part of Pink France, because I said so. So, that will be the final thing in this episode. We saw two big unities, where Pink France got most of the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, sorry, and then they got Iceland in this part of Greenland. Now, yeah, that's the final thing of this video. If you liked today's video, make sure to drop a like down below. If you want to keep watching my videos and see more, well, subscribe and turn on notifications. And also, comment down your favorite country. You could choose any country you want, or any country you like. There's these two countries down here. Maybe your favorite country is them. But yeah, that is all for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.